Yo guys, how's it going? Just thought I'd do a quick, well I say quick, I don't know how long this is gonna take, but I just thought I'd do a game room slash streaming setup tour. I've wanted to do one of these for a while, so I'll just give you a quick pan around the room. Yeah, and sorry if the audio quality isn't the best, I'm using the onboard microphone for this camcorder. But anyway, so yeah, I've wanted to do this for a while. I wanted to just show off my streaming setup, maybe give some of you guys some ideas if you're interested in making one yourself. So if you didn't know, I stream on Twitch, and I do retro survival horror speedruns mostly. I occasionally do some stuff on PC, but mainly retro survival horror, so this setup's kind of revolves around and is optimized for like retro games. So that's kind of the idea of the setup, but I do play some PC stuff as well. But anyway, guess we'll talk about the computer first. So this is a custom PC I got about a year ago, I believe. So I've not had it too long, but I needed to upgrade because I wanted to stream at 1080p 60, and I wanted to be able to have multiple capture devices at 1080p, and I wanted to be able to stream and record at the same time and stuff. So that's why I upgraded, and I believe the specs are a GTX 1660, 6GB GPU, 16GB of RAM, and an i7. Can't remember exactly which i7, but it's from like 2012. It's quite an old i7, but it surprisingly is still pretty good today. So it's not amazing specs, but it does the job. So that's the PC, and I guess we'll talk about the microphone next. So this is a Rode Procaster dynamic microphone. This is kind of designed for podcasting. So yeah, it doesn't use phantom power, it's a dynamic mic, but it's designed to has a nice crisp sound, but it gets rid of a lot of background noise, which is nice. And it's an XLR mic. So yeah, fantastic mic. I did have a couple of mics before this. I had the Blue Yeti Pro, and then I switched to a Rode NT1A, and then I upgraded to this. This is definitely the best one out of the three that I've had so far. So yeah, fantastic mic. And then this is just on this boom arm, which helps because yeah, I like to sit back a bit, so I can just like move this down. And you have to talk quite close to this microphone. It's how it's designed. So yeah. And then we've got this audio mixer. So this is a Behringer audio mixer, USB audio interface. It's a very cool thing, very useful, and basically the microphone just plugs in here. So XLR into this jack here. It can have up to 4 mics, but of course I don't need that. So anyway, it plugs into here, has some equalizer options here for like high, medium, low pitch, stuff like that, left and right audio pan, and of course the gain controls and stuff. So yeah, it's a pretty good preamp, sounds great, not much noise or anything. But the main reason I wanted this audio mixer is so I can get audio from my retro consoles and audio from the PC and mix it together and then listen to it through this headset. So that means when I'm streaming I can hear the games, but I can also hear the PC, any alerts and stuff, or anything that comes through the PC I can hear it. So and then you might as well talk about this headset as well. So I've got this Bayer Dynamic headset, DT100. This is an old school studio headset. I think these have been around since like the 70s. I'm not sure if they still make them today, but they've been used like up until recently in like radio stations and studios. Very awesome headset, and you can replace like everything on this headset. So you can replace this cover, the cable, the ear cushions, everything. So it's quite a nice headset, and you can still buy those parts today, which is nice. And I guess we'll talk about the monitors. So this is actually a TV, Technica 40-inch TV, which I never really used that much. So I decided to put it on the wall and use it as a third PC monitor. So I've got two here. These two Dell 1080p monitors. They're more like workstation monitors, not really gaming monitors, but they're 1080p and they look great, and yeah, they work fine. So, but I've got those two, and then this is a third monitor, which I like to play some PC games on and stuff. But usually when I'm doing retro games, I have OBS on this big monitor. And I can also, if I change the channel to HDMI 1, I can also use it as another monitor to play some retro games on, or anything that's HD or 16:9. I can play it on there. And I'll talk about how that's all connected and set up in a second. So I've also got an Elgato Hd60. It's not the 60S, so it is USB 2.0. Just have the delay, but it's not too big of an issue with the way I've got things set up. So that's for capturing the games, so all the retro games and stuff. They go through the Elgato Hd60. Then I've also got another capture card, Roxio HD Pro, and that's connected to this camcorder, which I actually use as a webcam. So I upgraded to a camcorder. Just sits on this little tripod. But of course, because this capture card has delay as well, it kind of syncs up the gameplay footage and the webcam, well, the camcorder. So it actually works fine, and all I do is in OBS I add a delay to the microphone and it all syncs up, so it works quite well. And I've also got a Logitech C920, which is a great webcam, by the way. But yeah, that's what I was using before I upgraded to a camcorder. But now I just use it as a secondary bird's eye view webcam, I guess. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that. I also have these hi-fi speakers, so I upgraded from like a standard, PC speaker setup with, the two speakers and a bass speaker on the floor. I feel like the hi-fi speakers are a lot better. And they're connected to, of course, a hi-fi / AV receiver. And again, I'll talk about how that's set up in a moment. And the last thing here would be the keyboard and mouse. I don't exactly know what it's called, it's just a Razer one, I can't remember off the top of my head. It's a very nice one though. It's not mechanical or anything. It sounds good though. It's quite heavy duty. Like it's not a cheap feeling one. You can get some that are really light. Like don't weigh that much and feel quite cheap, but yeah, it's alright. But I also wanted a keyboard that had a USB port so I can plug the mouse in like right next to it. But yeah, I guess we'll talk about the monitor next. So this is a Sony PVM. I believe it's the Sony PVM 2130QM. So it's a medical grade PVM. It's a 20-inch. And yeah, it's great. Press this here and you get all the options for like volume, sharpness, brightness, all that. So yeah, it actually has a built-in amplifier, and you can hook up like hi-fi speakers with speaker wire, like directly to it, which I actually don't do. I just use the AV receiver, but yeah, you can hook up speakers to this thing, which is cool. And right now it's playing Silent Hill on PS1. Well, I'm playing it on the PS2, but yeah. There's Silent Hill. And it's on here as well. So yeah, that's that. Now we'll talk about how this is all set up. So basically I have this upscaler here, DVDO. And how it works is I tried to have all the consoles use RGB SCART because it's just easier to put it that way. So what I do is I have the console goes in here to this RGB SCART distribution amplifier, and then it distributes it twice. So one goes to the PVM and one goes to the upscaler. Then the upscaler outputs using HDMI at 1080p 60 FPS, and that goes to a HDMI splitter. One goes to the TV up there, and then one goes to that Elgato HD capture, HD60, sorry. So that's how that works. And also the DVD can actually output audio using Toslink optical cable at the same time. So I have it outputting using Toslink into the AV receiver, and then that goes into the audio mixer, which is how I get the console audio. But it also means if I want to listen to, like, for example, if I want to listen to like the game consoles, I go to DVD, and then you won't be able to hear it now because it's turned down. Let's see. Yeah, I've not set it up properly, but anyway, yeah. So if you want to listen to like game consoles, I go to DVD, and it comes out the speakers. And then if I want to listen to the PC, go to phono, and then the PC audio comes out the speakers. So that's how that works. Oh yeah, and then I've got my Japanese, well, Hong Kong 90K model PS2, which I use for speedruns, and that's what's playing Silent Hill right now. And then I have Nintendo Wii, Red Wii down here, which is soft modded, so I can play GameCube games at 480p using Component, which is quite nice. But unfortunately this PVM doesn't have HD, so it can only accept analog 480i and 240p, so it can't do Component, unfortunately. But if I'm doing something Component like the Wii, I just play it on here and it goes straight to the it goes through the upscaler to the TV. And then we've got Sega Saturn. This is actually, it's a long story, but the AV port's broken, so I've had to hardwire an S-Video mod in, because that was the simplest mod to do. So that's using S-Video, which does work on this PVM. And it actually looks quite nice. I'm quite surprised with S-Video. Moving on, we've got this light here, by the way. That's what I use for streaming. And just bounce it off the wall. And that's how it lights up the room. Oh, also I've got these posters. These are game advertisement posters. It's a PS1 game. Got quite a few of them. I got them from a Japanese convention in Manchester. Got them for a good price, so I thought I'd frame them. But yeah, they're very awesome. Anyway, moving on. This is a majority of my consoles, not all of them, but a lot of them. So I've got a fat PS3 60GB backwards compatible, so it plays PS2 games. Original Xbox, and then we've got a Mega Drive Model 2, which is actually hard modded with a Japanese and English and a 50 and 60 Hz switch. And then Dreamcast, Super Famicom, PS1, N64, and a PAL PS2. And the only downside with this setup is that I don't have an RGB SCART switcher, so I have a RGB SCART extension cable, which is hooked up to the distribution, SCART thing. So all I have to do if I want to switch consoles is change the RGB SCART here. That's all I have to do. So I just have to plug like another one in, because everything else is powered up. So everything's powered up, ready to go. Just need to switch the RGB SCART. Yeah, and also the power cables are all on this cord, on this extension cable, which I cable tied to the side. And it's on this nice wire rack which I actually got the idea from a few retro game collectors on YouTube, because they use like a similar wire rack, but it's silver, which I did try to find, but I couldn't find any. But I ended up finding this black one instead, which is actually a nice matte black texture. So I actually prefer this. But yeah, it's quite sturdy, looks nice, and adds a bit of ventilation as well, for especially for the PS3, since it gets very hot. It adds a little bit of ventilation. Yeah, that's it for those consoles. And then moving on over here, we've got my games. So, well, I guess we'll talk about these up here first. So, this is the RE4 chainsaw controller for the PS2. It's in pretty good condition, has the controller cable. Yeah, it's quite tough to play with. Not the comfiest controller, but it's very awesome, collectible. Then I've got this Clock Tower 3, let's see, Clock Tower 3 watch. It's a pre-order watch that you'd get when you pre-order the game. I actually got it off eBay, but I thought it was very cool, so I got that. Then we just got some DBZ figures, some more stuff here, and then some boxes down there. And yeah, on the top of here we just got some random figures and boxes. I don't want to talk about, I don't want to go too like in detail with all the games. I'm just going to skim through them. So at the top here we've got Super Robot Wars Collection, which is kind of like this game here, Advance Wars, but with like Gundam and stuff. So a big fan of this series, so that's my collection. And I've got this, which is actually a sealed game. I don't have much sealed games, but I've got this, which is like one of the only English versions of Super Robot Wars. At least for like the original old Super Robot Wars games. Then we've got my Saturn collection. This is all Japanese Saturn games. Yeah, I only have 2 PAL games. Resident Evil and Tomb Raider. But yeah, this is all my Japanese Saturn games. And some good titles. I've got House of the Dead. We've got Biohazard. What else have we got? Oh yeah, King of Fighters. We've got King of Fighters 95, 96, 97. Got Desire. I've got some Neon Genesis games. So some pretty good titles. And we've got some boxed Super Famicom games. And then some loose ones. Then down here, got PAL versions of Resident Evil, got Zelda Collector's Edition, some boxed memory cards, some more games, N64 stuff. I've actually got the US version of RE2 on N64, which is quite interesting. Got some Japanese Mega Drive games, my favourite being Phantasy Star 2, which is very awesome. And some Wii games, Xbox Original, 360, PS3 down there. Funnily enough, with PS3 I actually have, what is it? I have every single version of our MGS4, well, every region. So I have PAL, US and Japanese. I don't know how I've managed to get all 3, but yeah. Oh, also I've got this, which is Biohazard on the Famicom. It's actually a ROM hack. Very cool. You can find the ROM easily online, but getting a physical version isn't so common, so I just had to pick it up when I saw it. So, but it's actually pretty cool for Famicom. Plays okay, except the soundtrack is it hurts your ears a bit after a while. Then we just got some PAL PS2 games, then some other bits and bobs. This is, what is it? This is Shadow of the Colossus, but the Chinese version, I think, the Asian version. So it actually has English, Chinese, and Japanese versions on here, which is pretty cool. I got some .hack stuff, Final Fantasy. Oh yeah, I also have all 3 versions of Final Fantasy X, PAL, US, and Japanese. Moving on from that, we've got PS1 stuff, just some PAL games. I am missing a few. I'm missing, I think RE2 and RE3, which my brother is lending, or is borrowing at the minute. And I've got a rental version of a Alundra, which is pretty cool. Oh, and also a very super bootleg version of Chrono Cross, like super bootleg. I found it on eBay, and it was like £5, so I bought it because it's just so bootleg. But I can't even get it to work, not even on a modded console, mod chipped console. It just won't work. I just don't understand what's up with it. Then we got some Japanese PS1 games. Japanese Dreamcast. There's not much to know. It's mainly Resident Evil, Silent Hill and stuff. Parasite Eve. Up here, you probably saw before, but yeah, Advance Wars. Eternal Darkness, Biohazard games on GameCube. Biohazard Zero Trial Edition, which is pretty cool. The US versions of Resident Evil Remake 0 and 4 on GameCube. Silent Hill 2 and Dino Crisis 3 Japanese on Xbox. Then we just got some more Japanese survival horror PS2 games. Siren 2, Clock Tower 3, Fatal Frame 1, 2 and 3, but I'm actually borrowing this third one. Silent Hill 2 and 3, Demento, Biohazard Code Veronica HD, and then we just got some guides here, which are pretty cool. So this is the Biohazard Sega Saturn guide. I've got Biohazard Outbreak guide as well. Parasite Eve 1. Oh, and then I've got Dino Crisis 1 and 2 guides, which is cool. And that's pretty much it. So my collection isn't like massive, it's just like stuff I like. I don't collect everything. I don't just buy games I don't have for the sake of collecting them. You know, my collection isn't massive, but it's just stuff that I really like, so that's why it's quite a small collection. Oh yeah, and then I've got my Pashislo machine. This is a Japanese Pashislo machine, like kind of like an arcade machine. It's pretty fun. It's a Sinbad Adventure, which you can actually play on PS2. I actually have the PS2 version of this game here, which is emulated on PS2, which is cool. Yeah, Sega Saturn arcade stick, which is broken. And then this is the last thing. It's just this bookcase that has various stuff. So I have lots of PC games which I can't use anymore because my PC doesn't have a disk drive. But it's still nice to have. And I have Silent Hill 2 on PC, which is pretty rare. And then we've got some VHS anime. Pokemon, Evangelion, Dirty Pet Flash, Robotech, Digimon. Just some mangas, some anime DVDs. Yeah, and then of course Full Metal Panic, which is very awesome. One of my favourite animes. That's the US collection, which is pretty cool. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Just thought I'd make the video just to show off the game room and also talk about the setup, because some people have been interested in how the setup works and how it all comes together. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching. If you're interested in seeing any survival horror speedruns on Twitch, then yeah, be sure to check me out. And yeah, hope you guys have a good day. Take care.